Good evening. Hello, hello. Figure I'll do a greeting of some sort. I'm not like one of these people that does live streams as like a profession. So it's not going to be like this this crazy mystical thing. What's up, Psalms? It's not going to be this crazy experience. I'm primarily a all these people are logging in now. This is great. I'm primarily doing this as more of like an education sort of thing, as like just a way to sort of like pull the curtain back on how some of this music is played and how some of this music was made. That rhymed, I guess. So we'll get started with just obviously, like, there goes my boiler. My boiler is like right behind me. So everyone's like, hell yeah, woo. Yes, this stream will be available. I'm gonna archive it. I just literally like say like, yeah, save it to my channel, and it just saves it to the channel automatically. I can probably go in afterwards and make sure that it's like 100% archived. But for the time being, it's going to be so beach. For the time being, it's going to be like archived forever. Okay, so my name's Chuck. I am the composer of the music in Hylics 2. Half of the music anyway. It should be said that Mason also is an incredible writer. He does a lot of cool, wonky, wavy, experimental stuff. And our music together helped embellish the visual and gameplay experience for Hylics 2, which you all seem to have enjoyed so much. And I just want to take a minute before we get started into the music nerd stuff to thank every single person that is watching right now, or every person that is just passing through and watching this after the fact. Mason and I are so incredibly we're so grateful to be able to make art and have people just like enjoy it on the level that Hylics and Hylics 2 are enjoyed and experienced and shared and talked about, and fan music and fan art and all that. It's a magical thing to experience, especially as artists, and we appreciate all of you. So thank you so much. So let's get started. This is how I made Hylics 2. This photo of me and my baby. The phone, iPhone, not this specific one. I had to get a new one because the processor in my old iPhone, which was an iPhone XS, started to sort of like get a little wonky, and things started slowing down quite a bit. So I guess you could say, like, within the last year of my phone's life, or in the last year of me being in care of that phone, I made Hylics 2, and I used GarageBand. So let's just take a second to demystify that. I'm gonna open up one of the Hylics files. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna play stuff through my speakers, but I want to show you guys. Let's look at the Hylics 2 them's fighting words. It has to download it, so it'll take like 2 seconds. I missed a job. Yeah. So this is what one of my files looks like. This is like very early on in the Hylics 2 composition process, but this is it. This is what it looked like. It was just like, it's just a whole lot of doubled up. This is for in-game usage, I believe, but it's like nothing really that special. So GarageBand, GarageBand itself is a very, very capable tool, and I'm not here to tell you all about how wonderful Apple products are. This is the only one that I own. I like Apple's mobile products. I think that it's very streamlined. It allows you to capture a ton of your artistic integrity. However you may be creating art, whether it's on an iPad with like one of these pens, one of these like Apple pens or what, pineapple Apple pens. Horrible joke. I feel bad saying it as I just said it. Or just making music. And the good part about GarageBand is that it works as like this sketchbook. So let's say you are all of a sudden struck with like this immense amount of inspiration, but you're on the train. You don't have any instruments with you. You don't have the ability to like sit down in a studio setting and really get to work. You can make something on GarageBand, and then all you do is just send it to Logic. If you have Logic. Again, I'm not there yet. I'm still building up my my studio technology. So GarageBand is the primary DAW that I work in. Oh my God, it's so funny to look at this file. Look at how absolutely dreadful my organization skills are. My organization skills have changed so drastically within a project. Let's look at the comments section. Yes, it's fun to say though. Dude, I carry my laptop. Yes. I try and carry as much music making stuff as possible, and that includes like staff paper. Like I'll have like just a little miniature book of staff paper, or if I think of something, if I think of a melody, I'll write it down. That's if my phone fails. Most of the time, I'll just like hum something into my phone. I'll be like, okay, this is in the key of A major, and this is what I'm humming. And even though I'm not singing it in A major or humming it in A major, I know that I want it to be in A major. So then I take whatever it is that I hummed and I just transpose it into A major territory. Okay, so besides the phone, in order for my phone to be connected to all of my other magical devices that I used for Hylics, I needed to get an interface. Now, all I did was spend $100. This is an iRig HD2, a super, super basic piece of technology. It's a single input. Technically, you could input two things, but I just have like, there's like an amp mode, or I don't even know what this is. I guess it's supposed to look like an amp, so that you can hear, maybe you can hear what's coming out of your amp. I just plug my headphones in, plug my guitar in here. I plug my pedal board in, and then I have my guitar running through my pedal board. And I basically just like any guitar tracks or bass tracks that I'm doing, I'm running it through as a clean signal. And then I'll add effects and stuff. The bass, most of the time, I'll pick like whatever amp plugin they have. Surprisingly, GarageBand has some really, really nice amp models, and in addition to that, they give you a ton of control. Like you can do a full EQ for whatever the amp model is that you're using for bass, for anything really, but like just for the sake of like, oh, I want to mess with the bass guitar sound a little bit more. I want to go into this amp, blah 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 blah. Let's see what's going on in the comments section, because it's going crazy. Yeah, we're gonna get started. Chicken nugget. Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll try and answer some questions at the end. Just trying to give you guys an idea of like what's going on with how I made the music first, and then we'll get into learning the actual track. So I'll take a second. I'm gonna just grab this camera so I can show you guys, if you haven't seen already. This is my studio. This is what it looks like. It's just a bunch of music gear in a basement. You can see it over there on the over there. That's my chalkboard. There's a vacuum cleaner there because I just vacuumed the studio because I'm trying to be professional. This is like what what me and my wife do. We just create music in the basement of our home. But this is what I really wanted to show y'all. So this is my let's see if I can get this to work. Hello, there we go. This is my pedal board. This is what I used, not 100%, but I'd say 80% of the pedals on here are what I used in Hylics 2. This being the real big contender for the most used pedal. This is this sound right here. I'm like tapping because I'm holding the camera with one hand, and yeah. So this quintessence right here. This is a TC Electronic quintessence. This has actually replaced my my Boss Harmonist pedal, which was kind of on the fritz towards the end of working on another project. And basically, the quintessence it's like a harmonist pedal. I don't like it as much, but it definitely works. It's an amazing pedal. I shouldn't say that I don't like it as much. I like it the same. It's just a different pedal. It does different things and it sounds different. In my opinion, it sounds for the octaver, it tracks better. Or for the low octave setting, but that's me getting into a whole different thing. I use this pedal a lot too, TC Electronic Corona Chorus. Great pedal, sounds really fun. Just kind of like thickens out your sound, sort of makes it sound like there's two things going on, like two guitar tracks kind of like rubbing against each other. To create this weird dissonance, like maybe one is going out of tune. That's what a chorus effect is supposed to do anyway. I use this pedal a lot. That's the Grand Canyon reverb, or a Grand Canyon delay and looper. It's got tons of reverb and delay and stuff. I just always call it a Grand Canyon reverb because I'm horrible. That's Electro Harmonics New York. Is another EHX pedal, and another EHX pedal. We'll talk about all these pedals and stuff as like we use them. This pedal right here, the Wampler Sovereign, this is the pedal that I use for all of my distortion needs. So basically, what this is it's like, it could be like a distortion pedal or an overdrive pedal. It really depends on what you want it to do. It's got an insane amount of expansive uses. An overdrive pedal typically just acts as like some type of like, I guess it's like a not as like crunchy, scratchy, distortion-y gain stage. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, got it. It basically like it boosts your signal, and if you turn the gain up a ton on an overdrive pedal, you're going to get like a nice crunch to it, but it's not going to have that like real high end energy that a distortion pedal has. And a lot of people, when they think about it, they think like, oh yeah, like the Boss like DS1, that's like the best distortion pedal. No, I mean, like, I love Boss. I think it's great. I think that the DS1 is like the first distortion pedal that anyone ever has. I picked this thing up like, I don't know, almost a decade ago, and I've just never turned back. It's been a fantastic pedal. Do you have a list of the specs for the pedal board? I can post those. my pedal board changes a lot. So for me to post the specs, it would be like, oh yeah, like I can tell you what pedals I use specifically on each song for Hylics 2 as we go through them. Yeah, the melodica. I wish maybe I'll do like a cover. Maybe I'll do a cover of a Hylics tune on melodica one day. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna look at guitar parts for them's fighting words. Now there's many. There are just a ton, and you got to remember that you know, like I sit with this music a lot, and I still like keep up on it and listen to it. But it's not like something where, you know, like I'm playing it out at a gig every night, so I have it committed to memory. So there are going to be candid moments where it's like, no, that's not what I did at all, which will be fun because it's almost like I'm getting to take a step back into my music and relearn it. But I'm using the same gear that I used as much as possible anyway, because a couple of my pedals have been switched out. This is the guitar that I used for Hylics 2. This is a Ernie Ball. Everyone's like, is it Music Man or is it Ernie Ball? I'm like, it's both. It's the Ernie Ball Music Man. It's a Stingray. They have a Stingray bass, and they did a line of guitars named the Stingray. And I think Jared Dines has like an exclusive one where it's like an official like Ernie Ball Stingray Jared Dines model. I think that's really cool that he's working with them and they're working with him. He's like a huge YouTuber. I bought this thing a few years ago, right after I moved into this house. It's a really, really amazing guitar, and I love it so much. So basically, like I used this guitar, and then when I port over to bass for like the back half of the class, because there's only one bass line, so that part will go a lot faster. It'll just be section by section. I'll show you guys the specs of my bass. One thing, if y'all are playing along or like looking to learn how to do these parts of the song section by section, make sure you take out your tuners, okay? And you're going to tune to E flat standard. So this is a thing that I have been doing for years now. I've probably been tuning to E flat standard for all of my compositions, or drop D flat, so that it's like drop D flat tuning rather than E flat standard. Like metalheads call it drop C sharp because they just want to keep getting lower and lower and lower. Whatever, it's all the same thing. Your bottom note is going to be it's going to register, as you can see here. Mine is registering at D dot, which is D sharp. That's the same thing as as E flat. Okay, then we've got A flat or G sharp, same thing. We've got D flat or C sharp, same thing. We've got our F sharp or our G flat, same thing. We've got our A sharp or our B flat, it's the same thing. And we've got our D sharp or E flat, it's the same thing. And you're going to want to make sure that you're nice and in tune. Okay? So, I'm on a synth, but maybe it'll be fun to play along. Yeah, hell yeah. Like make some good music. E flat E flat standard, D sharp standard. What is it? Is that the same thing? I'm messing. It's the same thing. Yeah, D sharp, C sharp. It's E flat is like, I guess that's what blues and jazz people refer to. Post harmonica parts. Joe, I can't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother Joe. He's a rad dude. He comes in and hits up the stream every once in a while to see what I'm doing. All right, so we've got our first like checkpoint is like, all right, guitar is tuned. We're talking about all the stuff that we use to make the music. Now we're going to make the music itself. All right, so to get the sound, because you got to remember that this is very early in the Hylics 2 composition process, I think I actually used amp models and not like I was worried about what the pedals would sound like. Like I was afraid to use the pedals, and then by the time I got to That's a Big Stick, which was like the second or third track that I worked on, I thought, all right, I'm just going to use the pedals. Like I'm not like there isn't a whole lot of pedal work in them's Fightin' words. It's just a lot of different guitar parts. Yes, the stream will be uploaded. I'll make sure that it's saved. What is up? What is up, Kurt? So not a whole lot of gainy distortion sound. I would say something that sounds like relatively present, but is not like super like it needs to sound tasty overall. When I record the guitar with maximum amount of high end. So everything is just maxed out on the guitar. This, like, so if I was recording, it would sound like that. It's too much. What I end up doing is I end up fixing the high end and applying, like all of my filters and whatnot and EQing it, dialing everything back. I make everything super high in the mix, like natively, and then I just dial everything back. It's just a thing that I picked up on when recording. If you have your guitar set to something where like the knobs cannot possibly move, then you will not be dealing with any issues where it's like, why does my mix sound bad? And it's like, it's because your knobs move, bro. Like, just take it easy. It'll be okay. All right. So we'll dial this back a little bit more on the Sovereign. So we have that first motive, that first like chunky sort of like jazzy, like ooh, cool, laid back vibe. Now, why did I make this decision? There are a couple different reasons. One, I really like this voicing of a minor 7 chord. I think that this voicing of a minor 7 chord is incredible. It's like a it sort of reminds me of like, I don't know. I sort of like stumbled upon it accidentally when I was trying to play a regular old bar chord. When this is, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, I was trying to play A major, and I accidentally put my ring finger, put my ring finger on the E string, which supersedes my index finger that is also on the E string. And it sort of creates this like, this is a B minor now, essentially. So I tried to play an A major, and then I instead put my ring finger ahead, and now that's on fret 7 of the E string, which is a B. So we end up having, so we have a, we've got this super kind of like dissonant sounding minor 7 shape. And that moves up in a, like classical music, classical music 101, do not move in parallel motion at all. Except I did, because I don't really give a shit. And like, I got the music degree, like learned all the rules, and then I decided that I was just going to break them. So all I did is move up a whole step. So for those of you that are looking for tabs, this is basically going to be I work from low E to high E. So this is thickest to thinnest, or if you want to say string 6 to string 1, or low E to high E is usually what I refer to it as. Yeah, of course. Fuck classical rules. All my homies hate classical rules. I mean, I love classical rules, but I also love to break them. It's like the rules were like perfectly crafted for me to just like shatter them into a million pieces and, like just make up whatever it is that I'm going to do. So this is actually going to be 7, 5, 7, 6, 5, 5. Okay, so you have this ta-da-ta. Okay, and then you're literally going to move that entire chord up a whole step. So now you've got 9, 7, 9, 8, 7, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I resolve down. This is like one of the weirdest things ever. I just resolved to a G major. Now you can play that super bright, like you can play like the cowboy G. I don't really like that. We want that fat, round, like blocked out, just like a big G. And this is what people would refer to as like a G major bar chord. It's going to be 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3, which is similar to the voicing of the first two chords that we hear. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And literally that just loops for all of the verse. Like literally it just loops. It's always like present if you notice, which kind of puts you in this weird, I mean, it's semi-syncopated, so it kind of gives you this weird sort of cool kind of laid back vibe. Wanted to expand upon what I was saying before. Stumbled upon that chord, that shape accidentally, but I chose it for this because a couple of my students, you know who you are. I don't know if they're watching right now. These are students from a while back. They were playing Persona 5 at the time. And I had to like scour through all of Persona 5 and the Persona 5 music and learn how to play it on guitar and on bass, because one of them was my guitar student and one of them was my bass student. And it was like, oh, wow, there's some like really cool laid back music in this game. You know, maybe, you know, now that I've been given this itinerary from Mason to write a bunch of music that's low tempo and laid back. Last surprise time. I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'll just write like a really cool, like laid back vibe, kind of like Persona-ish. But beneath the mask, right? I mean, I feel like I don't even know. I can't even play that one tune. I think it's Last Surprise or something like that. Yeah, I can't even remember it. Used to listen to chill Persona 5 tunes in the dark room. Yeah, I mean it's like I didn't want to like copy it. You know what I mean? Like that's not the intent. The intent is like I want to try and capture that that essence, that energy that those songs present to the listener. And so I sort of just came up with that vibe, just that you know, just kind of like a really relaxed sort of feeling while you're kicking, you know, claymation ass. All right, so we then have this other guitar motive that comes in and sort of creates this like, I'll stack some stuff. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is how I write music most of the time too. Like when I'm not in the DAW, I'll loop it. So we have So all that is a really simple whole step dissonance. We have on the G string 6 and on the B string 4. So effectively we have, this is like, some people hate this noise. I adore whole step dissonance, and I'm also into minor sevenths. I think that those two intervals are fantastic. They're both funky fresh in their own way. So we've got, I'm gonna fix this angle too so you guys can see this part of my guitar. I'm just going back and forth between G and B. So this is 6 4 6 4 6 4 6 4. Playing it legato to let the notes bleed into each other to get that rub, that sort of sound, that ping-ponging back and forth. And then same exact thing, you're just going to move up a half step, and that's moving with the chords. So you have that. Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, if you sort of like the G string while playing both notes, it kind of gives it like an even crazier sort of dissonance, because you're straying into, since you're bending the string, you're actually making the note sharper. So you might be, if this is what you're talking about, you'd be bending it not into whole step territory, but you'd be making the bottom note sharper, and therefore you'd be bending it into half step territory because you're closing that gap. So it makes it like even like more. It gives it like this, like sort of like beeper element to it, or like your cell phone is ringing in your head or whatever. I don't know. It's like there that dissonance. The sound of binaural beats that are created in dissonance is super cool. What's up, Prodim? Dude, welcome. I'm super glad that you're able to watch me make a fool of myself while teaching people how to music. Hello, Fabio. Beautiful. I love you. I love all of you, and you get a car, and you get a car. Nobody's getting a car. I need a car. That's what I need. I need a car that isn't fucking like breaking down all the time. Okay, so we have those two sections. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the song on so that I can show you guys the the solo section, because we have that thing stacked. Now you have this. Let's add it. Why not? So it's a really, really simple. It's like I'm not even moving. I'm not even really moving my hand there. I'm not moving my hand as a unit. I'm moving my fingers a little bit, but it's all about the bend. So that right there is just this is 9 to 11 on G. And then so that's, you're bending whole step when you're on 11 with your ring finger. Let's use proper technique, people. You're going to be bending a whole step on the 11th fret of the G string, which, I mean, effectively that's G sharp, but or G flat rather. But since we're a half step down, it's even further than that. Now that is effectively an I want to say it's an F. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. I don't even know why I'm like second guessing it. Probably because I'm a little nervous. So that you can like settle up underneath it too if you want. Like you can like make it a little flat, and that'll sort of give you like this blues vibe. That it's a note that will allow for that. If you make that pitch slightly flat, it'll just give you like a little bit of a bluesy feel. So that right there is 11, 9 on G, and then just ping-ponging it back and forth between 11 on D and then back to 9 on G. So you have that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2. Okay, that's literally it. That's it for that whole section. So let's just look at that really quick. I'm going to be playing it from the official Hylics 2 OST Them's Fightin' Words YouTube video, because why not? Oh, okay. Of course. So I have to give everybody that lead line in the beginning. That. All right. So this is actually incredible. And for those of you that have never watched one of my streams or have never interacted with me in a stream before or in Chord or whatever, this is where I reveal all like the fun secret stuff. So that line. There's a note in that line that I will inevitably screw up. Like I will mess that note up because when I played it and recorded it, it was completely accidental. And I was like, oh, I got to go back and re-record that. And then I listened back to it and I'm like, no, it's perfect just the way it is. So it's like one of these like happy accidents moments. So this right here, you'll notice that that my thumb has now gone into ultra instinct mode. No, it's just sort of like made its way up over the ridge, and I'm using it as a bolster point on the neck of the guitar. Typically, when I'm playing chords, my thumb is hidden behind because for me, I like to use the taco hand technique. So this is like having your thumb in the back center of the neck so that you can play your chords and have like tons of space here. I don't really like that. That creates a lot of tension in my wrist. Not a good look for me. Not a good feeling for me. So when we get here, when we're playing something up here, right? Like I'll still play chords like that with taco hand, but if I'm soloing and I need to have stability in a bend, my thumb is going to be up here. So this is, I've got 3 fingers in a row here: index, middle, and ring. Index is on 12, middle is on 13, ring is on 14. Ring, and these are on the B string. I don't know if I said that. The ring finger is actually the one that is in control because it's superseding these other fingers. But these other fingers act as a means of stability. So when you're doing a bend, imagine doing a bend with just a single finger. Like it just doesn't feel. It just makes it easier to bend. It just gives you have a stability point here, and you've got that pressure that you are using to create the bend is being implemented over 3 fingers and not 1. So that is, you're bending up whole step and then resolving that bend. So effectively you're doing 14, bending up to 16, which is a whole step bend, releasing the bend, but not releasing the string. So you're resolving it back down to 14, lifting to 12, and then bringing your middle finger down on 13 of G without that honk. Okay, now here is the magical note that there it is. So that, of course, it's like I can never play this perfectly because I played it completely accidentally. And then, so basically you can hear that it's like, I played it accidentally, but it was like the perfect mistake. So all you're doing is moving up from, you're moving up from being at 14, you're going to go to 17. And you're going to bend up to 19. So are you using the neck or the bridge pickup? Oh, I'm actually, my switch is in the middle at the moment. I find that for streams, lately I've actually been recording all of my soloing with the neck pickup. I find that like I've just been, for this newer project that I'm working on, the neck pickup just like has like a more bluesy vibe to it that I need. But for Hylics 2, I used the bridge pickup a lot. And sometimes like if I wanted to thicken up the sound, I would use the split between the neck and the bridge. But for now, I'm using the split as well. And then we have so this is like totally insane. You bend up on 17 to 19 and then release it just like you did before. And now your index finger is going to come down on fret 14 of the D string. And you're going to get this dissonance again, this major 7. So this is 14 on D, 16 on B, 14 on B. So let's hear how it sounds in reality. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have here's that. There's that lead line as we develop it. Okay, so we're a minute and 11 in, and we still haven't hit that drop point. So when's prevailing westerlies happening? Oh, okay. So I can answer these couple of questions right now. Okay, so Finale is actually the first song that I recorded for Hylics 2. I did it as a demo, and initially Mason said, no, I don't like that. And then he was like, wait, it actually sounds really cool. Let's use it for the credits. I did it by myself in my basement, my basement bathroom, in the dark, using GarageBand, using like just stacking loops. Like I did something that existed in 8 beats. And then I had that play for X amount of times, and I just created this like pyramid where new things would enter the mix, would enter the tune. 17 on B, 14 on D, 16. So this is set. And then, yeah, that sounds about right. Yes. Okay. Howling in the Dark. Yeah, me howling in the dark. So that was the first track that I did was Finale. And it was promptly met with like, no, I don't want vocals. And then it was like, yay, we're gonna do vocals anyway. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Less work for me, right? Even though I was looking forward to doing a whole new track for the finale. And then this question, prevailing westerlies. So we're going to be doing these pieces in appearance order. So I think the next track that you hear is Xeno Arcadia, and then That's a Big Stick, and then Prevailing Westerlies. So it'll be another few weeks before we get there. But the good news is that I'm hoping that all the music is appreciated. So if you're not into learning one track, like eventually your track will get there, but you'll learn all the other tracks in the process of getting to that part. Okay. Honestly, never expected guitars to sound to be more electronic. I guess that means the sound editing must have been. Yeah. So I showed my pedals at the beginning of this. Hello. Like I have tons and tons of like stupid sounding pedals that I have implemented. So yeah, of course, longer wait for Fancy Meat Computer. Yeah, Fancy Meat Computer is going to be super fun. I'm going to be really excited to teach that one because I fucking love that song. And it's like one of my favorite pieces that I composed. It's like, it's still good. Like to be able to sit and, oh, what happened? Is the stream still going? Are we still here? I feel like something just happened. We good? That compression one for the, the compression pedal? Yeah. Yeah, working with 8-bit pedals for future projects. 8-bit pedals are super fun. Yeah, I thought my computer blue screened with that feedback for a second. Yeah, it turns out that is what happened. Life blue screened. Yeah, so the Toe Jam and Earl tune is Xeno Arcadia. Yes. Okay, so we get to the drop. We get to this magical moment in the song where everybody is like, oh, that's that South Park part, right? And it's like, good, your ears are all serving you well. South Park, the theme was performed by Primus, but I'm pretty sure it was composed by Les Claypool. I'm not like a huge Primus fan, but I have seen them like a handful of times. They're a super fun band to go see live. If they're in town, like I'll make an effort to like get a ticket to go see them because like their shows are super weird and the experience is fun. I don't like if someone was like, oh yeah, like do you know this one Primus tune? Like, I'm not gonna know what the name of it is because they all have weird ass names, and I think that's the point. But I love Primus. I think that primarily my influences are like Pink Floyd, Mr. Bungle. That's another '90s like weirdo band. Yeah, just like it's not to say that I don't like Primus. It's just that's not what I was trying to channel. However, what ended up happening is people immediately gravitated to, oh, that sounds like Primus, because Primus in South Park uses the. So it's like this weird, like diminished little cluster made of a diminished sounding interval. It's the tritone. So we have that. Okay, so we're going to look at this part really quick. Okay. Also, what is happening? I'm gonna play that bass part too. I'm doing something called counterpoint there, where the guitar part is going up and the bass part is going down. So we have this and we have this we have this like guitar part going up and the bass part going down. They are merging from each other, and it creates this sort of like separation before that clunk drop. Boom, 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 boom. That initial Hylics motif that is going to show up everywhere in the music. So super easy to play. So 1 and 2 and so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So we have, this is 5 on B, 6 on E, and then this is 8 on B, 9 on E, and then we do 11 on B and 12 on E. And again, this interval is called the tritone. It sounds dissonant as shit. It's meant to sound dissonant as shit, and it's got this magic to it. You can't invert out of it. There's nothing that you can do once you're in the tritone. Like, the only thing that you can do is play something else. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, I'll flip it upside down and I'll create this new chord. It's like, or this new interval. No, if you move the bottom note of the tritone to the top in the next pitch class or the next octave, and you're playing now the top note as the bottom note, it is also a tritone. Example. It's a really symmetrical interval, and yet it is so dastardly, and it just creates this little moment of tension of like, are we gonna win the fight? Are we gonna kick ass, or are we gonna get just covered completely in clay spikes, or get our faces melted off? Like, I don't know. So I wanted to create this element of like, oh, this tension. So we have. So again, the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and don't be afraid to get a little slidey with it. At no point did I take my fingers off the guitar. I just slid up each time. The grittier, the better. That's what Mason wanted. He was like, yeah, just make it like crazy gritty and lo-fi and, like, make it horrible. Do something, like just make it the way you want to make it. He actually told me, he was like, I don't want anything like epic and proggy. I want it to be like, I want to avoid that entirely, and don't make the drums any more complicated than they have to be. So now the magic begins. Okay, we're gonna go over the chords first. It's just 2 chords. This is an F major. For those of you that play F like this, you're in luck. It's easier. All we're going to do is Led Zeppelinify that chord. This is like a 10 Years Gone chord. So it's an F major with an open B and E. Again, the tritone returns. We have that B inside that F chord. That B doesn't belong there. It's a sharp 4 or a flat 5. But when you sort of like sneak it into the chord next to that open E, which now makes it an F major 7, that we've got this magical, mystical sounding chord. So this is F major with an open B and E, and then you're just going to move up, same thing. This is a, let's call it a G sharp. Actually, you could refer to it as A flat or G sharp, whatever. It's going to be at fret 4. You're going to just play a typical bar chord, and then you're going to take your pinky finger from that bar chord. Okay, this is index finger across 4, ring and pinky on 6 and 6 of A and D, middle finger on 5 of G. You're going to strum that all the way through. Take your pinky, and you're going to create a dominant 7 chord, okay? When you move your pinky, you can remove your pinky and play a dominant 7 that way, but the way I voiced it is I put my pinky at fret 7 on the B string. So we have... And I just looped that. That's it. That's it for the chords for the chorus. And then it goes back to that. That note comes back, which is why I put that note in that last chord. It's sort of like foreshadowing to like, oh, this is going to be our linchpin that brings us from that A flat dominant 7 or G sharp, whatever you want to call it, G sharp dominant 7. And it's going to bring us back to it's going to bring us back to that. This is like a C sharp minor 7. Okay, so yeah, it's again, like it's super subtle ground. It's like these are little tiny things that like and I'm not thinking about this when I write it. I'm hearing it and I'm experiencing it, but I'm not like, when I write based on feeling, and I go back and hash out the details later. Usually the next morning. I'll go and I'll listen to stuff, and I'll listen to it for about a half an hour straight on loop, and I'll take notes and be like, add this, get rid of that, change this, less bending, and I'll just like write it in my little notebook, or I'll write it in my notepad on my phone, and then I'll just go into like an auxiliary hour of a session, and I'll fix stuff. I do this for all of my compositions. Yeah, no, dude, listen. Not everybody needs to know music theory to be like, proficient at music. Music theory helps us. It helps us unlock a little bit more information about like, what is happening in the musical experience. But like, I am by no means a master of the English language. I speak it natively, but like, I didn't get a degree in English. That's like, sizing me up next to my mom, who has like, a master's degree in literature, and she's got like, a degree in English, and her vocabulary is crazy, and she has amazing editing skills and can pick up on like, verbal errors that people make that I would otherwise not pick up on. But that's because that's what she's trained to do. That's what she's educated to do. I'm educated to make music, but like, I can speak English well enough, but like, just because like I can speak English doesn't make me like I've mastered the English language. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is, don't worry so much. Make music, enjoy it. It's here for all of us. Music is an experience that everybody can share and everybody can communicate through. Yeah, mom flex, like, yes, my mom did this, and fine. She'll probably watch this later and like hate me for even saying that. Yeah, I will. My mom is she's a cool lady. Okay, so we've got those chords for the chorus. Now, what do we want to do first? Let's do the slide. I know y'all are looking for the slide. So this is the most important piece of technology on Hylics 2, hands down. It is a brass tube slide. It's matte finish or satin finish, whatever you want to call it. It's not glossed at all. This is a very, very important piece of equipment. Now, I do have a glass tube slide. I only got it recently so that I could like just experience different slide ability, different slidey tones in later compositions. But this is what I used for Hylics 2 because this is all I had, and I have had this since 2006, and I never fucking used it once. Not once did I ever use this thing. And I thought to myself, well, Hylics 1 has tons of slide guitar on it, so I should just have slide guitar on Hylics 2, right? And so, of course, that's what I did. I wear my slide on my ring finger. A lot of people will say, like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to wear it on your pinky. You're supposed to wear it on your middle finger. Dude, wear it wherever you're going to wear it. Here's the reality of the situation. You are going to make music the way you're going to make music. Dude, dudette, person, you, them, they. You're going to make music, and you're going to make it in the most beautiful way that you can make it. Wear your slide wherever you're going to wear your slide. Hold your pick the way that you're going to hold your pick. There are like an innumerable amount of techniques. And I'm just here to remind everybody, if it sounds beautiful and your technique looks weird, you're not playing music wrong. Have you ever watched a video of a person shredding your face off, shredding their own face off, and they don't have any arms or any hands, and they're playing guitar? The guitar is laying down and they're playing it with their feet. That's not poor technique. They're working with what they have. Their technique is their own. Part of being a musician is owning your technique. It's creating a personal element and infusing that into your personal technique, so that when people hear you play, they know it's you, not somebody else. So just remember that. So for any sliding parts, lose the pick. You're going to drop. Remember when I said, oh, all the way? You're going to drop this all the way to the other side. No high end. And when you pick, you're going to just sort of like pluck up or thumb down. Your choice. And get bitey with it. Why not? You want to do pick and chicken? That's fine. The idea is to create this twangy, boinky, wonky, wavy sort of sound. This is all it is. All right, so what is that? It's the same, like, 3 notes. So when you're using a brass tube slide, or any tube slide for that matter, you want to make sure that you're not pressing down on the string, because then you're going to hear the frets moving. You want to negate the idea of having frets at all. So you're going to use a little bit of pressure wherever that is, wherever your comfort spot is on the brass tube slide, because everybody's physiology is different. And I'm just going 8 on B, 11 on B, 7 on B, and you'll notice that I'm moving it back and forth, creating vibrato. Andrew, hello, dude, welcome. Oh, Andrew's like a very, very old friend of mine, great guitarist. So good. I'm doing a masterclass on the music for Hylics 2. Thank you for coming. Holy shit. I'm like so many cool people are showing up. So yeah, this is just 8, 11, 7 on B. And if you can, preferably get a brass tube slide. They sound a little bit it's a little bit grittier. You got to remember that it's metal on metal. I'll actually do I'll do the glass tube slide, and you'll see it's not as good. So brass tube slide one more time. Okay. why? Here's the glass tube slide. It's going to sound like way more angelic. Like you can't hear the scraping. And that's the important thing, is getting that grit. You can hear that. It actually adds to the high end when you're recording. It'll get picked up here. It'll be very subtle, but when you listen to it isolated in the mix, it's fantastic. Okay. What is this? Gotta go, but I love the game and I love your composition. Oh, thank you, Anthony. You can catch this this stream after the fact. I'm gonna archive it. So thank you for stopping by. I'm convinced that I'm tone deaf. Can't tell the difference at all. It's difficult to hear. Like, you know, I'm using like this microphone over here. Again, like when you listen to the two separately in your own mix, you're definitely going to hear the difference between brass and glass. Like it's going to be super apparent because you're going to hear that scrape, that metal on metal scrape. The point of a glass tube slide is to reduce the scrape. People found out over time, like, oh, we need something that is, we need something that has a smoother surface area. So we need to not use metal. Oh, well, let's use glass. So what a lot of people did was they sawed off the top of bottles, of beer bottles, long necks. And so you hear a lot of songs that are referred to as bottleneck blues, and bottleneck is like slidey, like you're sticking the bottleneck like that. Yeah. So, okay, that's one guitar part. Then we have this. Hello. Got to fix that patch cable. So that's the second guitar part. And for all intents and purposes, that is mimicking the hi Mason. Yo, Mason's in the chat. For all intents and purposes, that part is the bass line is mimicking that part, or that part is mimicking the bass line. So we have that. So for the MXR Phase 90, I just have the rotary turned up all the way. Like, again, crank it, it's fine. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that warbly sound. After a while, like I used to hear that and be like, oh my god, like the pitch is like you can't even hear the pitch. It's completely bastardized from what you're trying to play. But instead, now I hear it as like just this very wild and free vibrato that is being added. It's not like the depth of you can change like the depth of the wobble on the chorus pedal, which is like it sort of makes it sound like that TikTok filter that everybody used for a while. So that is just so that's a secondary guitar part or a harmony part. So this is 8 on A, and then 9 on G, 10 on G. So you're doing like a major 7 jump to an octave. Okay, so that's 8 on A, 9 10 on G, and 10 on D. So the whole thing should sound like this. And just straight quarter notes. Okay. The next thing that we have is the harmony. The actually, oh, it's not. It's just And that's like the official Hylics motif. That shows up a lot in the game. Now I'll explain that at the end of like me playing. I'll talk about some music philosophy stuff. I'm probably going to go until like 11. But like, and I'll answer more questions and stuff. I'll do like a Q&A afterwards about the track or about whatever it is that anybody wants to talk about. And I'll also reveal some extra stuff. I mean, Mason, you're in here right now, and there's 52 people. We'll make the official announcement, but for those of you that are in here, Mason and I are planning a double live stream tomorrow on Instagram, where we're going to talk about. We're going to say thank you to the fans, first of all. I think it's only proper that we do that. And we're going to just talk about some Hylics 2 stuff. We're going to talk about some stuff that is on the horizon. And we're going to talk about, I think like we might discuss what we have been doing like in the meantime. Like after Hylics 2 release, like what have we both been working on? What have we both been focusing on as artists? And I think that would be a really good way to sort of like let people obviously Mason and I interact with each other all the time, but like for people to sort of like, not like in a voyeuristic way, but like just for people to watch us talk about, like what we're working on, and do Q&A and interact with the fans, and just, watch people, let people watch us work together and talk. People seem to be interested in that sort of thing. We're both artists, so, it's like, yeah, we'll just talk about whatever. Yeah, Hylics Direct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can definitely think of it like that. That's 100% accurate. It'll be on either. I think Mason is going to host it on Instagram, and then he's going to go live with me. So his face will be on top and mine will be on bottom, so that everyone can see his glorious visage. All right, so that. You can go back to picking here. Okay, so this is 12, all on E. 12, 15, 11. Okay, so we've got these little tiny microscopic chromatic movements that are happening. And that creates, again, that element of dissonance. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this stacked. This is the last one. Okay, that's everything without the bass. That's all the guitar parts. Okay, so we're right on time because I spent the first 15 minutes talking about, philosophy and like, oh, here's phone and here are pedals and here's studio. Not philosophy, but like thanking everybody, introduction stuff. The first hour was guitar. Makes sense. This next half hour is going to be just bass. And I'm going to reveal some pretty cool information about why the bass, to me, on this track and on the whole project, is so special. Because there's like a pretty cool story behind it. Actually, I didn't mention this before. So my dad, who is not with us anymore, he was a huge support for me as an artist. He would like from the very beginning, like if it was like my birthday or something, like every few years, he'd be like, "Oh, is it going to be a guitar birthday?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. Is it? Like, I don't know. That would be cool, I guess." He's like, "Well, I mean, you better get some audition material ready for me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I just want to hear what you're working on. You know, like it could be your own stuff. It could be like a song that you're learning or whatever." And like, as I got better and whatnot, like I obviously like got a job and started making my own money and buying my own guitars. And my dad, I moved into my house. I was living here for like, I moved in at the end of 2017, and he passed away in July of 2018. Or maybe, I mean, it's crazy to think about, because I try not to think about it all the time because it makes me sad. I moved in here and I was talking about like, oh yeah, money's tight because we just got the house. You know, we closed on the house. I'm thinking about getting this guitar because it's really great. I'm thinking about getting this guitar because it's really great, but I'm thinking about selling my Strat, my Fender Stratocaster. And he got like so mad at me. I remember he was on the phone with me, and he was like, you know, don't sell it for any money. Don't sell it. Keep that guitar, because if I had a nickel for every time I sold a piece of gear that I should have kept, because it was going to keep me in the business and it was going to keep me interested and keep me making music. My dad left the music industry in like, I want to say like the late 70s. He tried to hang on, but you know, like he just saw a lot of his friends getting into the wrong stuff, and he saw a lot of his idols, you know, like overdosing and dying. And it's just like, I got to get out of this industry before it sucks me up. You know, he was like, you know, Woodstock era kind of guy, born in 48, you know, just like totally like easily my biggest influence as a musician. And I remember clear as day, I was like fighting with him on the phone. I was like, Dad, I just bought a house. I'm going to sell this guitar. I need the money so that I can get this other instrument, because I think that this other instrument is going to serve me well. I tried playing the Strat live. It sucked. I didn't like it. It doesn't sound good. He's like, yeah, it doesn't sound good on that project, but it'll sound good on a project, just not this one. Keep the Strat. It's an iconic sound. It's an iconic guitar. That's a great guitar that you bought. And it was like, you know, like there was no arguing with him. And he was just like, hold on, let me call you back. And he calls me back and he says, the money for the other guitar is in your account. Click. And I'm like 27 at the time. Like I'm a man at that point. Like I don't need anybody's money. But I didn't realize that my dad was dying. None of us did. We knew that he was in relatively bad shape, but I didn't realize it. And then after, like 6 months after he died, I realized that he did that because it was the last time he was going to be able to provide a guitar for his kid that went on to become a musician and fulfilled this dream. And he did not live to see this shit happen. This is like the coolest thing. I get to write music for a video game. I get to write tons of new material and explore new sounds, and people get to experience it in a different way, in a way that I have come to you know and love and worship. Like all of my idols are you know great video game music composers. They really are. Like I'll show you guys something. This is such a cool thing that I have. I have This is my signed laminate from my time singing in Final Fantasy Distant Worlds. That's Nobuo Uematsu's signature. Like I am like I'm in, man. Like I have loved video games and video game music for so long, and it just crushed me that, you know, like, oh man, I get to do all this cool shit and my dad isn't around to see me do it. But the important thing is that I'm proud of my work, and my brother gets to hear it, my mom gets to hear it, and my sister gets to hear it, and I like get to, you know, carry my dad's legacy with me. And I know that, like, I'm, you know, in some cosmic way, like there's like cosmic pride or whatever. Now, that means that this is a dad guitar. This is like a guitar that was provided by my dad. The bass, we're moving on to that. I'm going to real quick plug in to my bass amp so that you guys can hear it. Just give me 1 second. Intermission. Turning off this amplifier, unplugging, and moving over to the bass amp. This is my 1980 PV Fury. Okay? So this bass sat in a pawn shop in Georgia for God knows how long, and it is a total piece of shit, and I love it. It is a great bass. It's the only bass that I have that has a maple, or it's the only guitar that I have that has a maple fretboard. I have tons of guitars that have maple necks, but all of my guitars have rosewood fretboards. My dad showed up from a business trip with this case, and he was like, yeah, I got you something while I was on the road. It was like super cheap. I saw it, and, you know, I realized that you don't have a bass, and you were like messing around with, like, you know, a junky one recently, and I wanted to bring you home something. He was like, it wasn't expensive. I only spent like $150 on it. And I'm like, okay, that's still like, you didn't have to do this, Dad. Thanks. And at this time, I'm like maybe 16, 17 years old. So I've had this bass for a bit. And he said they thought it was a gun. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, they wouldn't let me on the plane because they thought it was a gun. So I was carrying this through the airport, trying to like get it onto the plane, and they like confiscated it. And so then I had to go through security and go and get your bass back because they thought it was a gun. He's like, I get it, but like, no gun is gonna be in like a thin like ass case. Like the bass case for this is in such bad condition. It's so awful. It's always been awful. But I have the original case for it, and it's really funny. This thing apparently was so dirty. My dad took it back to his hotel room. He cleaned it. He cleaned the strings that were on it. He like took a duster, like an air duster, and he blew out all the dust and all the grime inside the guitar. Like he really like of course. I mean, I don't own a gun. But, you know, I would assume that my Wi-Fi is very bad, so I can't stay long. I just wanted to say thank you for the loss. Oh, thank you, Snaily. Yeah, like point is, he brings home this bass from Georgia, and I've just never, like, I have another bass. Like, I have a Fender, you know, like American Jazz 5 Deluxe. Like, it's beautiful 5-string bass. I'm using that on the current project that I'm working on. It sounds amazing. But Mason wanted grit. Mason wanted it to sound like not all that great, lo-fi, you know, like he wanted the music to be quality, but he wanted like the sound quality to be like lesser. And this thing, you like don't even play it with the tone knob up. Like I'm just like yeah, it just sounds fat and ridiculous. Now, why does it sound amazing on Hylics? Why does everything sound like so like like warm and low end. Everyone's like, oh yeah, like dude, I don't know, like everything is like super low end heavy on that OST. There's a reason. And it's because I ran the bass through the MXR Phase 90, the duality setting of what the guitar is set at, which is full rotary. I have it set to lowest rotary. I have to turn down too because it's like really loud in my basement. So give me a second. Okay. So this bass run through an MXR Phase 90. It's got this like sort of noise. It's very cool. So there are a few tunes that I use a pick on for the bass. Most of the stuff I'm just using my fingers. The bass line's really easy for this track, so we're going to go through it really, really quick. Here's the beginning. No bass in the beginning. So all that is just or you could pick whatever you want, pick your poison. It could be you could do that. I really like the sound of low end though, so like I'll usually stick to like, unless if I'm doing octaves, like there's like I'd have to like figure out what the key for Xeno Arcadia is, but it's slap bass at that point. So I'd be going back and forth between like E and D. But for this case, we have okay, so this is just that's staying on the dots. 5, 7, 9. So and you're just gonna be 16th notes. So this is ta 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 ta. All right, so this is hit slide to 7. So 5, 7, 9, 9. Then 7 on A. And what I'm doing there is I'm hitting, going with my 3 fingers. So and that just loops, okay? It's really simple. Okay, then And then let's hear what's going on with this. What's going on with this bass part? And then, okay, so this is, and then, so, let's hear that in slow motion. I always forget that line. Okay, yeah, of course. So this is like a little bit of symmetry here, okay? So this is, so use a thumb. Again, so this is tritone, but it's on the on beat. It's on the strong beat, whereas the guitar is 1 and 2, and this is, okay, so this is 2 on D and 3 on G. Remember, this is also tuned to E flat standard. E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. And then, okay? So this is a group of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, bom, 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 bom. Think of it as groupings of 3, but you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So, bye, Prodim. Thanks for coming. I'll miss you. One day we'll see each other again soon. We don't live that far away from each other. This much love, dude. Thank you. I miss you, face. So this is. So we have. This is 5, 4, 3 on D. 4, 3, 2 on A. 3, 2 on E to 1. So we have this little bit of symmetry there. 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So and we go in there. So I'm going to break that down one more time. You're going to resolve onto that 1. So it's fully a symmetrical, I don't even want to say it's symmetrical. It's a sequence that follows a specific program. Down 3, next string, down a string and down 1, down 3, down a string, and down 1, down 3. So 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. And you resolve on that 1, which is meeting the F chord at the beginning of the chorus. So then we have that. And not a lot of people realize that, but that's what's going on in the bass. There's like this little bit of a bend, and like I bend my body, I arch my body to feel that. So all that is the same thing that was happening before in the in that one guitar part that was using the MXR Phase 90 full rotary. This is 1 on E, which is F. Then we have that major 7 interval, which resolves to the octave. So we've got 1, 2, 3 on D, and then this is 4 on E. So fingers, just bend it ever so slightly. It could be a quarter bend, just a very, very slight bend. Then that repeats 4 times, and then so that ta 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 ta. Okay, that's the bass line. I'm gonna play through it once, and then we'll I'll wrap up like the playing portion of showing y'all how to play through the track, and I can do some Q&A. I finished a lot earlier than I thought I was going to be, but I knew that the bass line was going to go like that because it's not that complicated. Okay, here we go. Beginning of the track. Sound quality okay tonight? Everyone's feeling okay? Then we have okay. So that's the track. Now that there's something to be said. Let's talk a little bit about philosophy now. Why? Let me put my instruments away too, so that I'm not tempted to play any more than I have to. I might jump back on to guitar at some point, but why is it, do you think, that I focused so heavily? Why is it that I focused so heavily on creating a piece of music that was dissonant and at the same time aesthetically appealing and calming for the battle music? Well, first of all, we have to talk about what Mason wanted. I had signed on to Hylics 2. I'll probably say this a ton in this series of videos. I think I'm going to do 11. I'm going to do all of the pieces of music that I composed, and then I learned Battle Alternate. Like I learned how to play one of Mason's pieces, which is really hard because it's like all over the place intentionally, and it's very good, and it's super fun, and people seem to really like that one. So I'll probably do that at the very end, or maybe I'll sneak it into the middle. I don't know. I haven't decided. I signed on to Hylics 2, like in like 2017, like late. Like Hylics 1 had been out for like 2 years. Mason could see that he had like this cult following, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a second game." And I'm like, building all this stuff. I've got like some demos and some level concepts and stuff. I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, do you have anybody doing the music for it?" Just as like a bullshit statement. Like I had no idea. This was at a New Year's party because Mason and I, our families are connected. He says, oh yeah, I mean, like, are you like available? I was like, I I could be. Like, I would like to. I would do the music if you would be interested in letting me do that. And so he probably has them. I told him to like nuke them because they were so bad and I had no idea what I was doing in the DAW at the time. But like I had wrote this like island theme for one of the game tracks, and it was like so bad, like not good at all. Uh I did some like I went over to his house and like tested out some watched him test out some level design and like watched like I saw like Decris before Decris was Decris, you know, like before any of the lore had like, expanded or anything like that. And I was just like writing music in front of him. And I lugged my amp all the way up 2 flights of stairs, um, brought my pedal board over. We recorded it with a mic, with a microphone. It was like a microphone up against my amp. It was a mess. It was like not streamlined at all. Um, and I think it was just a really good experience in the beginning. And then like Mason went to work. Like it was radio silent for probably like a year and a half. Um, 2019 New Year's, 2019 into 2020, before the pandemic hit, before our lives fucking changed so drastically, I saw Mason at our annual New Year's party, and I was like, "Hey, so like, how's the stuff for the game going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need that music. Like, I'm gonna need you to start working on it soon." I was like, "Okay, do you want to like hit me up in a couple of days? You know, like obviously we need to get past New Year's and we need to get past the holidays and stuff. Can you send me what you need?" He was like, "Sure." January 8th, so a week later, I email him and I say like, "Hey, did you want to send that itinerary?" He's like, "Yes, I actually just finished like, going through everything that I need for you. Here's the itinerary." And like sent it. And it was just a really thorough, amazing itinerary. He also sent over playable demos. He sent over GIFs, color palettes, just like textures that he was using, really developed descriptions, what he wanted, what he imagined, and then he said, "But don't let all of this force you into making something that you don't want to make. Obviously, make it your thing, but these are like some things that I'm thinking about." And I've come to learn that working with Mason, when he says "I'm thinking about it," it's like he's kind of like secretly doing it, or secretly like like that's what he's focused on. I'm thinking about it. And it's a classic like Mason thing, and it's awesome. Um, so he was thinking about me doing the music in this specific way, and I was like, "Sure, no problem. It'll help me get out of my comfort zone," because I was playing in a prog rock band. I still play in a prog rock band called Amigos Amigos. That's what I was doing. I was playing tons of like weird, long form tracks with like a main verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, 3.5 minute postlude that's completely detached from the song, with guitar solos and all sorts of soaring nonsense, horn section, bass, 2 guitars, drums, like me singing, getting everybody else to sing and do harmonies and stuff. It was like we were having a good time, and then the pandemic hit, and I haven't seen them. I haven't been able to see them. We've interacted on virtual, but it's not the same. We can't rehearse together, so we're on a hiatus right now until things get better. But it gave me an opportunity to really focus on working on the music. Um, Now I finished the OST before the pandemic even hit. I started that night. I did the demo, the demo piece. The finale was actually what I had envisioned for the worm brain maze. Um, I was like, oh yeah, this is like really mystical and things are popping up. So I figure like as you get deeper into the maze, like more parts will start appearing. And so I just crafted this thing for Mason to pick apart and add as you got deeper into the maze, as you got closer to the origin of whatever the source was, like as you got closer to the battle inside the worm brain. I asked this before. What chair is this? What chair is what? This chair that I'm sitting in, it's like this chair. It's like a chair from Amazon that cost like no money. It was like a chair for like $80. Like you can just get it. You can just get it on Amazon. Yeah. So yeah. You know what I thought was really cool is that Hylics, the Hylics 2 OST, was completed a little less than a year ago. I had 10 pieces that I wrote. I started like basically right away, like January 8th, and I finished in February. And I mixed and mastered. I took my sweet time with mixing and mastering. I lived with this music for all of March, all of April, all of May, and almost all of June before we released the game in June. So I was way ahead of schedule. It made it easier for Mason. There are a few people that have expressed their discontent with, like, this is not the same music. This is not, I don't like this music. It's not the same as Hylics 1. Well, they're different games. They're different games. And it was a fear that I had where it was like, like I'm like an outsider with this game. And sometimes I still feel like that, but like, I've been around for a while and it's like, I'd like to think that my name and my vibe is sort of integrated into the Hylics experience now. I know that like I'm still pretty new for most people, but it's nice to have been welcomed to the experience by Mason and by the fan base. And again, I know that it was different from Hylics 1, but it should be said that I took my time with these pieces. I spent, I want to say like 100 hours. It's 10 pieces of music. Composition, recording, mixing, and mastering. Each track probably got about 10 hours of dedicated time. Now, that's on average. Finale, I did not spend 10 hours in because it was so short. It was a short loop. The longer pieces, though, that were more expansive, took me a long time to record and mix and master. And it's just me by myself down here. If I turn off these lights, it was like this in the basement. And I just sat, like, I had the purple lights on in here, and I had a couple candles burning, and I just like sat and got lost in my musical thoughts for 6 or 7 hours. I'd start at 8 and I'd finish at like 2 or 3 in the morning, because I believe that it's very difficult to get a good track done for a video game piece, to get a good track done in separate sessions. Unless if I have it blocked out that way, once I start, I'm not going to stop. And that's just my personal philosophy, is like, finish what you started. Like if it's in the micro, great. If it's like, like if it's in a session and it's something that you can do, finish it. If it's a macro project, if it's like this huge thing and you've dumped X amount of time of your life into this thing, finish it. Don't let it sit. Finish it. Take the time that you need. But if you're thinking about like, oh yeah, I started this project and I've never finished it, go and finish it. You'll be glad that you did. It's nothing should be left undone, because you don't want to live with regret about a piece of art that you made that you never finished. That's the worst thing in the world. That's, for an artist, that's the worst feeling in the world, is I started this thing and I'm never going to finish it. Why? Don't get in your own way. Don't stand in your own way. Take the time, treat it as a hiatus. Let it marinate. Let the idea marinate. Finish it. So that's kind of like why I completed these pieces so quickly. On this other project that I'm working on that I won't talk about so extensively, I've already I was in talks, we'll refer to it as that. I was in talks starting October 30th, and it is the 15th of January now. So on the 30th of January, it will be 3 months, right? So November 30th, December, yeah, it'll be 3 months. I will at that point have close to I want to say like 16 pieces for this other project, which is going to require me to be somewhere up around like 30 pieces of music. So it's triple the amount of work. And in addition to that, I'm working on an animated short film that's like a 5-minute piece of like through composed music. That's like, again, this is all on the phone, so I'm like really pushing the limits here. So let's talk about that for a second. Everyone's like, well, I mean, if you want to make something really great, why don't you just like spend a ton of money and get like a MacBook Pro and like get a real DAW and like, you know, get this and get that and the other thing. Isn't it incredible that I was able to just really sit down and focus my energy and my efforts and make something that everybody enjoyed on the phone? I'm not asking like, you know, it's not like a rhetorical question. I ask myself that all the time. Isn't this a wonderful thing that I just used what I had, what was available to me at the time, what was available within my financial means? And the reason why I work this way is because of a composer named Igor Stravinsky. Igor Stravinsky and I were born on the same day, not the same day in the same year, but we're both June 17th babies. And he's one of my very first memories. My first memory ever is Disney's Fantasia. And I remember like the evolution of life being paired with the Rite of Spring and being absolutely enamored with that piece. And years later, I would come to learn a ton about Igor Stravinsky in my undergrad years at Rutgers. And I did a ton of projects on him. I always just chose I took an oratorio class, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do a Stravinsky oratorio. Let's talk about Stravinsky's Oedipus Rex and how ridiculous that oratorio is. And I wrote a 10-page paper on it. I don't remember what I wrote about because it was so long ago, but I remember being like just totally zoned in on like learning about Stravinsky. And one thing that I really enjoyed about his technique, his philosophy was like, listen, you need to limit yourself. Everyone's like, yeah, learn the rules and then use them all. Use all the rules, because at that point you're free. You're free to do whatever you want when you learn rules. He's like, no, you need to limit your goddamn self. You have to put yourself in a narrow corridor and make art chained up. Like you need to be in a cage making your art. And your art needs to be so powerful that you break out of those barriers. You transcend those barriers. And that is when you know that you have become an effective artist, in his opinion. And so there's another, like a great Pablo Picasso piece where a great Pablo Picasso, not a piece, a quote where he says, like, learn the rules of the masters, or learn the rules of your art so you can break those rules like a pro, or break them like an artist or a master or whatever. It's just like I need to learn these rules, and then I need to limit myself and make art based in that limitation. And I mean, it's true. It makes things so much easier. So much easier. There are a lot of moving parts on Hylics. There are tons of pedals and tons of nuanced stuff, and the slide and the full rotary speed on the MXR Phase 90, and just there's tons of stuff that can be unearthed when I go back and listen to this music. And when you go back and listen to this music, if you study it and do a soft analysis or a hard analysis, however you want to study my music, go for it. I'm happy that you're listening to it either way. But like, it's just, it doesn't have to be done in Pro Tools with all of this technology and then go like, dude, I mixed and mastered it using my own ears and it's in mono. Everyone's like, oh man, it would sound so cool if it was like, done in stereo. It's like, would it? I'm kind of like a cat that feels like I was born in the wrong generation. I'll never say that, for real, but like, I really love music from the late 60s and the early 70s, all the way up to 78. And then stuff starts to kind of get like disco-y, or things were getting disco-y. I really enjoyed Chick Corea and all of his stuff throughout the 70s. I was a huge Led Zeppelin fan at the time when I was like in the 6th grade. I just like stuff that is recorded not in stereo, like stuff in mono. Listening to Beatles recordings in mono is unbelievable. You're just getting like punched in the face, like direct on, head on with everything that band had in mono. There's like, and the best part about mono is that guess what? If one of your earbuds falls out or you lose one of your AirPods and you're listening to music with the other AirPod or whatever, because that's where we're at with technology, you don't miss out on anything because everything is recorded in mono. It's all the same thing. So you can listen in one ear. You're not missing anything. It's like I get the point, the nuance of stereo, but mono to me is like, it's like the logical choice. It's like the neutral choice. So all classic Beach Boys and mono. That's right, Ferrochrome. You're absolutely right. Like it's that classic stuff. Wait, I get this in the back. I gotta ask, are you a cop? I don't understand. Am I a cop? Chucky's poor. Don't bully. Wait, I'm like reading all this stuff now. I missed all of it. Okay, it's fine. So my thing is this. Mono is the patrician's choice. Yeah, I mean, really, it's like I just feel like it was something else that Mason wanted too. He wanted it to be preferably in mono, because it's easier to apply to your game. Mono is a lot harder. Yeah, mono is like, it's true that it's a lot harder to mix because everything is sort of like clumped together, but I do things incrementally. So I'll like mix the guitar to the drums, and then I'll mix the guitar to the bass, and then I'll mix the guitar to the bass and the drums at the same time, and I'll like zone in, and then I'll start adding things, and I'll do it takes a little bit more time, in my opinion, to mix something in mono, because everything is just coming at you like this big rod of sound, like this huge like core of sound. I don't know how to, like a cylinder. Like stereo, it's easier to separate instruments from each other, and therefore you can hear things like, oh yeah, the bass is over here, first guitar is over here, voice is in the center with the drums, other guitar is over here, horns are over here, whatever, and you've got like this wider sounding thing. But like, wait, how? But it's usually higher speaker count. Yeah. So like, again, it's just one of those things where like when it's in mono, it's just like everything sort of like feels like it's clumped together, like it's closer to, like each track is closer. Play trombone. I don't have a trombone. I have 2 trumpets in my boiler room. But I don't have a trombone. I know people that play trombone really well. There's a couple of trombone players that have played in Amigos, but like I don't play trombone. So okay. Anything else in terms of philosophy? Just like, yeah, be like, this was the first track that I recorded for Mason, and besides the finale, like this was the first like full band track, and I remember getting that message back from him that said like, this is perfect. Yes, this is perfect. Thank you. Keep sending me stuff as it's done. And I was just like, like, oh man, because it's like Mason, like at that point, Mason was, he's my friend at that point. He's not like some guy that like I'm working for, you know. And it just felt really good and really gratifying to hear from the creator of this game that is beloved by many on an international scale, a cult following. Yes, this is perfect. This will work well for my game. And I was like, oh man, okay, all right, let's do it, let's get it. And then I did the next track and the next track and the next track, and before I knew it, I had recorded 10 tracks. So yeah. I won't speak for Mason about whether or not he is a like Mason's a musician. Yeah, he makes music, but Mason, as far as I know, he focuses on experimental stuff. He's a good guitar player. He's proficient. I like his finger picking. I think that his finger picking is really good, and he's got a lot of creative ideas going on. But like, that would be like if I tried to like, like paint and draw stuff, and that somehow was also included in like a new game that we work on together in the future or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, like this is okay. It's passable, like it's like I don't want people to think that Mason and I are like, like Mason's music is Mason's music, and it served a purpose in the game. But he hired me to do. He chose me based on the merit of my work to do a specific thing for him, and that's write highbrow music for a highbrow game. Comparatively to Hylics 1. Hylics 1 was made in RPG Maker. And listen, going back to what I said before, RPG Maker, you can do a lot of things with RPG Maker. Mason worked within those limitations, and he burst out of those limitations with the graphics that he designed for this game. And then he was like, oh, I want to make Hylics 2 like so much more extravagant and so much more expansive. So he moved over to Unity, and he made the whole game in Unity. And so because he moved over to Unity and stuff, that was one of the things that he said before I started work on it. When we were talking on New Year's, he was like, yeah, well, like I want like better music than what I could make. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like I don't want to like make anything that you're not comfortable with. He's like, well, like I'm sure whatever you make is gonna be better. And I'm like, you don't have to think about it like in like a self-deprecating way. You don't have to, but he assured me, he's like, I'm not looking for like a crazy epic prog rock, opera. I don't need that, which is what I was doing. But he's like, I need something that is going to be in more like it's going to have more musical intellect behind it. And so when I heard those words, how I interpreted that was, okay, I need to actually go deeper. And so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the importance of listening to the music in Hylics and trying to find repeating motives and themes in each song, and try and figure out what each of those things means. These are called leitmotifs. They are a little functional tidbit of music, a melody, or maybe even like a sound or a tone or like an idea or a concept that is repeating in specific areas throughout the game. And so like there will be like characters that are assigned specific leitmotifs. You just don't realize it yet. They exist. They repeat in certain areas, and they are representative of certain things. But it's not upfront in your face. And it won't be made fully clear just yet what the purpose of those is. But if you come to the Instagram double live tomorrow night, we will explain. We'll take the time that is necessary to discuss that. Yeah, so I'm gonna look at the chat now. I'm gonna I think I've said everything that I need to say in terms of what I wanted to say about getting started on the project, doing music, talking about the goal of this series. This was part one. I think there will be 11 parts. So Hylics 2 cassette release confirmed? Question mark. I can neither say yes or no. I can either say yes or no about that. What are some good exercises for bass? Only on Insta. Who do I follow to watch that? So yeah, Instagram. Fortunately, I'll okay. I'm gonna answer these in order. All right. What are some good bass exercises? Good bass exercises. That's a very there's my boiler. Good bass exercises are a very like that's like a loaded question. It's like I don't know what good is, but like some helpful bass exercises are exercises that allow you to stretch your hand as much as possible, so that you can get like because the scale of a bass of a typical bass is a lot bigger than a guitar. Um, I think working on spider scales both on guitar and bass is super helpful. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the low E, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just moving around in that four cluster, just all over the bass, going up, going down. Um, Basically, like also uh, conditioning your fingers to work with bass strings. Now, bass strings. Um, I have had the same strings on my bass since 2013. So that's what it's 2021 now. So the better part of a decade. I played the shit out of this bass, and I love the strings, and I don't think I need to change them. I like the sound, the mellow sound that the bass strings continue to have. I don't boil my strings. People ask me if I've boiled my strings before, and I'll tell you why. I don't sweat. Like I sweat, but like my fingers are not like sweaty. Like my hands are very dry when I play, and I mean like I drink water, but I'm not like a sweaty person. That's just not what I am. Do I saute my strings? Yes, I saute my strings in butter and sage. Um, the bass strings are round wound, so they're gonna have those ridges. If you have those strings, do slides: index, middle, ring, pinky, next string, index, middle, ring, pinky, all the way up, boom, 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 and really just like build the callus on your left hand. Then do exercises that really work um, on these two fingers. You can get it so that like the ring finger works. I mean, I'm not doing any like four finger Young from Dream Theater work in my right hand, but I'll do three fingers every once in a while. Predominantly, I'm using two. You're going to want to build callus there as well. In terms of strength, just playing the bass a ton, Uncle Mike, is very important. Like good exercises will manifest if you just hold the bass a ton. Good practice in general is focusing on having songs where you are experiencing success, like playing songs that are maintenance songs, where maybe you like step outside of the box a little bit, shred a little bit, talk a little bit more on the track, and then having songs that are just very humbling, playing along with songs or learning songs that are just very, very difficult. And then like every once in a while, just like once you get past a certain point, just pick a random song. Doesn't matter. There are songs everywhere. Like just pick a random song. Be like, hey, what's everyone listening to today in Hylics? And people be like, I'm listening to this. And you literally click on that and you learn how to play that piece of music right on the fly. Like if it's easy, great. If it's not easy, great. Either or. Another good thing to do is I'm a teacher. I have like 25, between like 25 and 30 students at a constant. And a lot of them ask me to, a lot of them are kids, and they'll ask me to learn songs so that I can teach them those songs. And most of the time it's like top 40 or like a song from a movie. Like I've had to learn so much music from the Lego movie. I've had to learn just tons of pieces that I wouldn't normally learn on my own. And you get an opportunity to just like learn music that other people are listening to, that inspires other people, and you take elements of those songs and of those pieces of music, and you absorb it, and sooner or later it's going to come out in your writing because you're influenced by everything that you play, everything that you learn. um, I bet Mason eats his clay too. Nope. No, he doesn't eat his clay. Are they good with marinara? Do you eat your strings with or without the peel? I don't know. It depends. Do you like your pizza bone in or boneless? Do you like boneless pizza? That's where do you stand on brown patches on a tweed jacket? Joe, dude, motherfucker, you know that I am down with the elbow patches on the tweed. You're welcome, Uncle Mike. Yeah. And again, if anyone has any questions about anything ever, please feel free to DM me on my Instagram. I'm on there a lot. I have it set up so that you can just send me a DM and I will get it. Obviously, if it's like, I'm just going to send you like gross shit, then I'm going to like, block it because I don't need that. But like, if it's a question, or if it's like, hey, I'm trying to work on this thing, or like, hey, I'm working on this piece of music, like, can I send it to you and you give it a critique? I'm always down for that type of thing. I'm here to help. I enjoy being transparent. That's why I'm doing these free master classes. I want people to understand that like, I'm trying to be the best artist that I can be, not just for me, but for all of you and for the world and for anyone who's ever watching this or whatever. Like, I don't need people like, listen, at the end of this thing, like, you don't have to smash that like button. Like, fuck that. I hate that so much. Like, yeah, go ahead and smash that like button. Like, dude, no, like if you want to see what I'm up to, check out my socials. You don't have to like and subscribe and follow and like check out my Bit Cartel, we don't need that. Like, if you're interested in what I'm doing, you can always see what's going on my socials. I'm doing a lot right now. I'm working on another game. Mason and I are always cooking something up. My work with Mason is far from over. This is not like a one-off thing. We can see that like we work really well together, and him and I have a lot of fun playing video games and Dungeons and Dragons throughout the week. And I'm working on this animated film with this kid. His name is Cameron Carr. Really, really awesome young animated filmmaker. Like, kid is fucking like hype. It's like, he sent me some stuff the other day, and I was like, dude, oh my god. It was like I was like crying seeing my music like go with an animated movie. It was nuts. Let's look at what people wrote. I don't know how, but it's such a desperate and depressing yet so high energy. Oh, boneless pizza. What's the answer to the what the answer to the Insta question? I don't know. Future is Now by the Offspring. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. So Future is Now. Yeah. The Offspring, great band. I listened to them a lot when I was a kid. Follow me on Patreon, add me on MySpace. Yeah, if you add me on MySpace tonight, you could be in my top 8 next to Tom from MySpace. Oh my god, fucking MySpace! Holy shit! Is the Wayne House melody of Hylics 1 the leitmotif of the victory in of the victory theme? So okay. That's a really good question, because both of those are Mason pieces and both of them include finger picking. So in my mind, sure. But I didn't write those pieces. I don't know if Mason was composing, thinking like, because the victory theme is a Mason piece and Wayne House is a Mason piece. I don't know if he was composing thinking like, oh, yeah, light motifs. Like, I don't know if that's what was going on in his mind. Mason, what's going on in his mind for his visual art is like fucking awesome. Like, it is, there is so much intent, and so like he's very methodical about what he does. And I would like, I try and pick his brain every once in a while and ask him like about like the techniques that he's using, and ask him about like his philosophy and stuff. And he's revealed stuff to me little by little, but he is like a visionary. Like, I'm trying to be as good of a musician as Mason is an artist. Like, to catch up, he's like I love working with that guy. Mason's like an awesome artist. It's like, I'm not religious at all, but like it's like a blessing, it's like you now have the ability to work, you have the privilege to work with Mason Lindroth, and it's like, oh great, this is so awesome, because he's such an easygoing guy to work with, and he's just got a lot of really cool, unique ideas that I think a lot of people are going to love for a long time. So what is this victory theme in Hylics 2? Yeah, the let me go back and read this. The Wayne House melody. Oh, of Hylics 1. Huh. Hylics 1, Wayne House. I would go as far to say, at that point, if you're hearing something that you think is similar, I mean, ask him. I don't know. I don't know if he had ideas that were crossing games. Victory theme in Hylics 2, is it the same as Wayne's House in Hylics 1? I did not write Battle Alternate. That is also a Mason tune. So if you want to know who wrote what without thinking too hard about it, I wrote anything with drums on it. Anything that has drums, I composed, except for the finale, which is the only piece of music that I have in the game that does not have drums. But everything else has drums. It would just be Wayne's House there. Yeah. So, any other questions? I'm like down here, like in my like fucking Skynet shirt and like my slippers, like just like so cozy in my basement. Like, dude, I have just fallen in love with my basement during this pandemic. I have to tell you, it's been great. Like, I kind of don't like, I enjoy the rest of my house, but like I have really taken the time to like this whole thing behind me was a mess. I still need to organize this. This is like all business stuff. Like, I eventually would like to get a file cabinet to put all of this stuff in, so that we don't have this bookcase. But like I organized all this. This is like all my pedals that I don't use, and like my Ellen Ripley and my couple of Ben Franklins, and like all of my boxes and stuff. I have like a fucking sword here for no reason. It's great. It's just like I everything is like super organized in the basement now, and I love it. I've been taking my time. The Chuck House, yeah. Let me ask you this, Chuck. What is your favorite electronic music band, if I had one? Okay. So I don't listen to a ton of electronic music, but I did at one point enjoy a ton of Aphex Twin. I listened to a lot of that dude, Richard D. James. He was great. There was also this. There are some bands that use so in terms of like electronic stuff, where it's all electronic. Chick Corea and the Electric Band. It's like the drums are almost fully digitized. Chick Corea is playing like tons of synthesizers. The bass is synthesized. It's like nothing is acoustic. Like, the bass is an electric bass. I would highly recommend listening to Chick Corea and the Electric Band. That is that is would be considered electronic music for its time. Um, like if we're talking about like stuff that I wish that I got into more, I know like a lot of people really like Nine Inch Nails in terms of electronic music. Um, that is some music that was in my vernacular for a little bit. I liked some electronic elements that Marilyn Manson was using for a little bit when I was listening to him in like the late '90s. Um, I really like some of the stuff that got like the electronic treatment on Rob Zombie's work. I think that stuff is like super cool. Like they did like a techno remix of Dragula and put it in the Matrix during the scene when he's like following the White Rabbit, and he like follows Trinity into the rave, and it's like, oh fuck, this remix of this track is so good. Um, yeah, Chick Corea. If you don't know who that is, I mean, listen, the only thing that I don't really understand about Chick, and I don't know if it is still a thing that he does anymore, but he is, I think he's a Scientologist, but I don't know if he's like one of these, like, I donate all of my money to the Church of Scientology and I get rid of suppressive people in my life. Like, I don't think he's like that. I think he just like read L. Ron Hubbard's books when L. Ron Hubbard was alive and really liked the idea and thought that it was super creative. And maybe he looked at it as if it was like a piece of as if he would look at a piece of music like, wow, this is a really creative way to think about these things, and sort of like became a Scientologist. But if he's a Scientologist, he's like one of the first ones who is a celebrity that is still living, because Scientology is not that old, and we all know it's fucking crazy. So, and if I don't know, if there's anybody in here who's a Scientologist, like, I'm fucking sorry, man. Whatever. Watch, everyone's like, we're all Scientologists, Chuck. You just fucked up. You just canceled yourself because you talked shit about Scientology. Yeah. Beck was also a Scientologist, but denounced it. Yeah. I mean, listen, this shit is, it's nuts. What is this? How do you feel about hardcore music, metal, tech? Oh, okay. Elliptic Studios, Dillinger Escape Plan. And oh man, that guy. I think it's the drummer, Backroom Studios. That's in New Jersey. That's like I could drive there in like 30 minutes. It's literally that way. Like I just have to I just need to go eastbound and get there. That's Backroom. Yeah, Dillinger Escape Plan. They're super, dude. I love metal, man. Like people like. I will still listen to tons of metal. I went through a whole phase where I was like, yeah, only like progressive, crazy, fucking like stupid metal. Like I'm just gonna listen to a ton of Animals as Leaders, and then it was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna listen to a ton of Periphery and Intervals and Pliny and all this shit. And it's like, dude, I listen to everything now. Like I love metal so much. Like I will go back and listen to like Dio and be like, hell yeah, this is grooving. I'll go and listen to like old school like old school Black Sabbath, like just shit that like songs that are not popular off of like their typical their typical record. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, like Paranoid. It's like, yeah, I know how to play that one, but like, are you listening to this other shit? Like I'm not gonna fucking rifle off like, nerdy shit, but like I'll just do a disco dive of like all of these older metal bands. But like new stuff is good too. I'm often I find myself nervous that there are a ton of virtuosos, and if I'm being honest, I'm not going to talk shit because I don't do that. Like I'll talk shit about Scientology because fuck Scientology, but I'm not going to talk shit about these other bands that exist. Like I remember Polyphia when Polyphia was like a virtuoso bro band, and now they're like writing trap music. And it's like, all right. Like that's my response to that. It's just like, okay. Like You do you. You do what you want to do. Like, you got to change it up. You got to write music that's different. Like, hip hop and metal have been intertwined for a long time. Like, go and listen to like early White Zombie. Rob Zombie is basically rapping. Go and listen to Epic by Faith No More. It's a rap. Go and listen to Rage Against the Machine. Alternative rap metal. That's what the definition of that music is. It's great. Just go like hip hop and metal and trap and all that stuff. It's all just coming together again because hip hop is huge right now. People love the energy behind hip hop. They love it. It was huge in the 90s and then it disappeared for a little bit and then it came back and now it's like very big, but it's big in a weird way. I mean, I like hip hop like Kendrick Lamar hip hop. I don't really like or rap. I don't really like this throat flicking like skirt sort of thing. Like I don't really understand that. And anything that's just like glorifying like running guns and like beating women and like doing a ton of drugs and getting rocked on Xans and stuff. Like I like whatever, man. Miss me with that shit. Miss me with that shit. Like miss me with like Motley Crue talking about like like just injecting a speedball and like going nuts. Like I don't need to hear about like an insane amount of drug use or like getting hammered or whatever. Like I don't need that in my music. I need music to make me feel something other than that. That's just my personal opinion. Old Town Road is it is a Nine Inch Nails track. It's not that it basically is. It's that it is. They sampled that track. And there was like a falling out. I think that guy, that kid that did Old Town Road, I think he paid Trent Reznor. I think Trent got some money from that because it's very obviously like it's oh yeah, no one's ever gonna know that this is a Nine Inch Nails track. It's not like there's a fucking massive Nine Inch Nails thing. Okay, all right. Everybody back the fuck up a second. You want to talk about sea shanties? Let's talk about how that meme is one of the most incredible things. People are posting it as a joke, but the reality of the situation is that there are going to be a significant amount of people that fall in love with sea shanties and people that fall in love with group vocal music. They're going to fall in love with it. They're going to join clubs. There's going to be sea shanty clubs in undergrad programs and in colleges everywhere now because it's a meme. It's funny. It's kitschy. I'm edgy. I'm doing the meme. But like some of these kids are really it's going to change their lives. Have you seen a group of people sing a fucking sea shanty before? It's amazing. This is a group of people at sea or working at the wharf, working unloading fish. And they're singing to pass the time because it's hard work. It's hard on your psyche to be out at sea, to be alone, to be away from the ones that you love, to be traveling away from the ones that you love permanently. It's an amazing way to fraternize with the crew, to fraternize with the people that you're working with, to get through it. And now sea shanties are becoming popular because they're being memed. Sign me the fuck up. That's amazing. That blew my mind. Gregorian chants. That was a meme for a while because people were like, oh yeah, Halo. It's got that Gregorian chant thing in the beginning. Great. This exposes people to things beyond what is popular. Sea shanties were popular. They had their time. Now they're coming back. Gregorian chant was popular. It was one of the main ways that people heard music in a church, meditating, talking about God and stuff. It was like this whole battle between sacred and secular for a long time. Gregorian chant. What is this? Gregorian chants are unironically the shit. Yeah, they are. They're amazing. People were losing their fucking minds about Tuvan throat singing, like and like I sat and like was out in the quad one night at 3 a.m. learning how to Tuvan throat sing with my friend Shane, who's like a wonderful talented musician who likes to experiment with stuff. And everyone was like getting into Tuvan throat singing. They were like, yo dude, Tuvan throat singing is so good. And then this band called The Who, the HU, came out, and that's like Mongolian like throat singing shit, but it's metal. And it's like dude, like world music, old music, it makes a comeback because we have the internet and because people share these ideas and find out. Oh, I'm like going out of focus. Wait, I gotta fix it. There we go. Like legitimately it sounded like a didgeridoo. Yeah, Tuvan throat singing, overtone singing. I'm gonna be talking about that because I use that in the finale piece. Didgerimon, Chidgeridoo, Chidgerimon. The Who torches such a good part of my tender metal loving soul. Yeah, touch, not torches. Yeah, my brother and I, we obviously we go way back because we have the same parents. My brother and I, our love for metal can probably be traced back to circa 1993, maybe 94. When we were playing air guitar, having air guitar battles to Big Blue from F-Zero, the original SNES game. And it was just like, we were going nuts, like doing fucking front flips off the couch and shit, just acting like goddamn fools. And it was awesome. Yeah. Joe's like F-Zero. It traces back to F-Zero. It's so funny. There was a CD called Pure Moods. It had a bunch of new agish music on it. Agish music. That's fucking hard to say. God damn. They had commercials on TV for it. It's back in the 90s. It had like Enigma and the like. Yeah. I mean, like there's my boiler. I hope that's not too loud. Pure Moods. Damn it. Okay. Good beats. Yeah. So I mean, it's like, it's metal music is very close to me. Obviously, video game music too just played a huge part in me falling in love with music. Like I've known that I was in love with music for all of my life. Like since my brain, like I have memories back to being like 2.5, maybe like just before 3, where I was watching Fantasia pretty incessantly. And then as I got older, like 3 and 4, my brother and my sister would be playing Super Nintendo, and I'd be too young to play, too young to understand how to play. But I remember I would be really into like certain levels of games because I'd like the music of that level. And so that my only connection to those games, because I was too young to play or to understand how to play, because fine motor skills when you're 3 years old. My connection to these games was music, and I'm just like so grateful that we have it. I mean, like, dude, we live in such an amazing time. We live in an amazing time where we get to fucking browse memes and like have great video game music and be talking with each other. Like we're all living. Like I'm assuming that most of us are safe in the pandemic. I'd say a vast majority of us have been safe. I'm sorry to those of you that got sick or have to work in situations where you're going to get sick, or lost people that you love that got sick, but like really we're living through like aside from the pandemic and some like really rough patches in human history, we have fucking had some really cool shit happen in our lifetimes. This is talking for people like I'm 30, so like anybody that's watching it that's close to that, watching this, it's close to that age is like, yeah, all right, cool, hip. Gonna repeat my question again. Sorry. Do you like any game OSTs? Russian Radigan. Persona. Okay, video game OSTs. For me, I love any work that Nobuo Uematsu has worked on. So like tons of Final Fantasy stuff. I'm sitting here like crying every night playing Final Fantasy VII Remake because I think the reimagining of his pieces is unbelievable. Although I do like the originals are really great. I liked the music from 8. I liked the music from 9. Um, I liked the music from 6 and from 5. Like I like all of his music. I think his music is great. Um, I really enjoy the work of Koji Kondo. I think that that guy is an absolute master, just a wonderful human being. Um, Koji Kondo wrote the music for Super Mario. Koji Kondo wrote the music for Zelda. Like, you know, these are my three favorite video game heroes are like not in any particular order, but my three favorite video game heroes are Link, Cloud, and Mario. I love those three dudes. I think that they're just fantastic. They're they're getting it done. They're like I think that they're you know, aspects of these video game characters are things that I've grown to idolize and emulate throughout my life. Like, you know, Cloud being cool, calm, and collected, being like, you know, almost like smoldering a little bit at certain times. Link not fucking talking at all, which is something that I don't do, but being driven to get the task done. Mario being willing to do the same thing, go on an adventure and just like, you know, try and rescue the princess. You know, like these are amazing stories that are being told, that are being embellished through music. Other notable OSTs and video game composers. I love Chris Christodoulou. I have had a chance to talk with him. He is such a nice guy. I won't get into the details of like how we talked, but I was able to send him a DM and he answered, and it was like dude, I get to talk to this guy. He's the composer for Hopu games, so like Risk of Rain and Deadbolt. He's really great, really stand up guy. Darren Cobb, who just not Cobb, Korb, Darren Korb. He recently won some awards for Hades. He does the music for Supergiant. He is phenomenal. That guy has some great ideas, and that's me being like listen, I'm small fry. Like no one has to give a shit about what I say or what I think about, you know, video game music, because like I'm just getting started as a video game composer. But I love that guy's music. I think he's fantastic too. Jake Kaufman. Jake Kaufman did the music for Shovel Knight. Unbelievable effort there. Like holy shit. Who's the composer? I think she took over. She does the music for Kingdom Hearts, and I think she took over for the Final Fantasy games. She's really incredible. I need to you know not be in the so let's do Final Fantasy 15 composer. Yeah, Yoko Shimomura. She is unbelievable. Like, just an incredible musician. She's written a ton of stuff. She did all the music for Kingdom Hearts. She's been working at Square for a while, I think. Let me answer a couple more questions, or let me answer a couple more things, Russian Radigan. Persona. Yeah, so Persona, I like Persona. I think Persona like almost transcends video game music. Like it's great. It's truly incredible music, but it's almost like it you could listen to it not as video game music. Like it's and all the music is so like it, you know that it's Persona music when you hear it, but like at the same time you hear it and you're like, there's something a little bit different about this music for this game. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for the Persona music as well. Imagine how hard the internet would be to describe to anybody pre-internet. I mean, listen, I lived pre-internet too. I was born in 1990, so it's like, you know, yeah. I remember having like a typewriter, like a word processor in the house. I remember the first family computer. What else do we have? One Winged Angel. Yeah, I sang One Winged Angel next to Nobuo. Like that's like a shining moment in my career. It's like we were standing right next to each other. And we sang that piece together. And I was like, holy fuck. Like, like such an awesome piece of music to be singing. Sega kids. Sega Genesis music. Okay. Video game music that needs to be discussed briefly. I really liked the music from Sonic 2. I think a lot of people did. But if we're talking about Sonic Team music, you need to go and listen to the OST from Nights into Dreams. That video game has some of the best music ever made. And last but not least, I'm not going to not talk about Konami because, I mean, we all know that Konami kind of sucks now because they're pachinko machines. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time has the best video game soundtrack ever, period. Full stop. Like, it is the best video game soundtrack. It is so viciously cool. It's like in your face rockabilly music with shredding solos, and it's mixed perfectly and it sounds incredible. What about so I'm not for Earthbound, I'm not really like, I need to listen to that stuff more and I need to play Earthbound. I haven't played any of the Earthbound games or any of the Mother games. Like, I just haven't played any of them. And I think I just need to take some time and like maybe I'll get them on maybe like I think Switch might have them. Like I might be able to purchase like a set. Maybe I'll just buy like the series and play it on Switch if it's available. I think it has to be, you know. Favorite game composer Jerry Martin, soundtrack for the Maxis games, Sims 1, Sims 2. Yeah, dude, those tracks are great. Those tracks remind me of Heinz Kiesling, whose music was reappropriated for Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like that like shopping mall, that high energy shopping mall music. It's so good. 90s video game soundtracks are also great because they. What did you say, Ferrochrome? Case study in making the most of the limitations. Yes, 100%. I mean, like, listen, we all know about Pictionary. That fucking game has like the best intro, like title card music I've ever heard in my life, and it's like for Pictionary. Jerry Martin, yeah, I got it. Oh, okay, yeah, Mick Gordon, we all love him. I mean, everybody loves. Like, he wrote music that was metal music. It was a metal, like, that transcends video game music, and he also wrote the music for Wolfenstein too. You know, like it's like it's just metal, like, and it's meant to be like, yeah, okay, Doom is no longer about a game. Doom is about like it's not a game, Mom. It's a lifestyle. Like, I slay demons for a living. Like Doom 1 and unfortunately Doom 2, the mix got like totally compressed and bricked, and Mick Gordon it just really chapped his ass, and like I don't blame him. He bailed. He's no longer working with Bethesda, or I don't even know if it's Bethesda. Is it like it's some is it id? Is it id Software? Doom Eternal. Yeah, it's id, but oh yeah, it's Bethesda. Yeah, okay. So yeah. He got he left. He's not working with them anymore, I don't think, which is upsetting. I mean, they took his music and he had like a perfect mix, and they were just like, great, okay, we're just gonna run it through a bunch of bullshit and like, and it's all bricked out, and like you hear his mix and you're like, this mix is superior, this is amazing, and then everything is just like super loud and overblown and unnecessary and flat, and it just has no depth to it at all. Very, very upsetting that they would just go over his head like that. Pictionary on SNES, yes, unbelievable, right? Are you a fan of Andrew Hushelt? I don't know. I don't know who that is. Mick Gordon, Bobby Prince, Mick Gordon is still good. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you should read about it. You should read about what happened. They basically like. They took his music, and he wrote like this beautiful, like amazing soundtrack for Doom Eternal. And they were like, okay, yeah, and all this work that you did on it, we're just gonna like completely negate it because we're just gonna throw like a total junk filter on it. Like, you look at his mix and you look at the transients, and the transients like actually look spiky, and they just ran it through a shit ton of compressors, and it literally looks like a a bar. It just looks like a total, like, for those of you that understand transients and understand what a song should look like in transients, like, you can see like the dynamic movement of the song, but like everything is the same volume. Like the quiet parts are the same volume as the loud parts. It's just like, okay, this part's quiet, but we're gonna turn it up really loud, so it's almost like someone is whispering like this, and then someone's yelling like this, and it's the same volume. It's ridiculous. It's really dumb. Boomer Shooter throwback game composer TM, and worked on games like Dusk and did Brutal Doom OST. Yeah. Oh, also David Wise of Donkey Kong Country. Unbelievable composer. Dude was an absolute beast. I mean, I think he's still composing stuff. I think he did the stuff for Tropical Freeze. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. That's great. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of influence out there that we don't realize with video game music. Like, it's there, it exists. You just have to sort of like reach back in time and find out. Like, oh, I played this video game once and the music was really good. Like, I wonder what their influences are. One last thing that I wanted to talk about as well, that has been influencing me recently is J-rock. So like, I've just been listening to a ton of like music that's been coming out of Japan, and it's been really helpful for me to develop a sense of better, more robust chordal harmony. And I think that there's something to be said for how the Japanese go about writing music. Like, there will be some people who are like, oh yeah, like, look at this pleb, like, listening to Polka Dot Stingray, thinking that he knows about shit. And it's like, listen, Polka Dot Stingray is nothing to fuck with. That band is amazing. The guitar playing, the songwriting is unbelievable. But I'll also listen to like Tricot. I think that Tricot is a fucking sick band. I don't even think they make music anymore. I think they were popular in the early 2000s or even the late 90s, and it was just something that I missed. In terms of like really chill Japanese music that is still rock, like crescendo style stuff, a band called Toe, Toe. If you don't know about them, they're really fantastic. They've really helped me out a lot in terms of like learning about how to be a better musician. Like, their musicianship is crazy. And then like going as far back as listening to Cassiopeia or Cassiopeia, like however you want to pronounce it. I think that band is unbelievable. Everybody loves mint jams. People love that stuff. You go back and you listen to that stuff. There's this track called Space Road off of their I think it's called Space Road, is the Cassiopeia album. Space Road is fucking like a precursor to bullshit that happened on F-Zero. Like, and all the Mario levels that take place in space, like Rainbow Road. Like, these people were listening to Cassiopeia, and then they were like influenced by it, and they wrote music that was supposed to sound like Cassiopeia. And then you go and you're a kid in the 90s and you're playing F-Zero or you're playing Super Mario Kart, and you hear this music and you're like, holy shit, this music is so good. And you don't realize that you're being indoctrinated to like Cassiopeia, which is true, because that was one of the biggest bands at the time that those people were getting educated to learn how to program and learn how to make art and learn how to make music to develop those games in the early 90s. So it all leads back to like waves of influence. Waves. And so what I'm hoping to do with these lessons, to wrap it up, because it's almost 11 o'clock and I have to eat and then I have to go to bed. I think the most important thing that I'm trying to tap into is I'm trying to become a wave of influence for all of you and for anybody that is watching this until the very end. I want to act and serve as a musician that people can say like, oh yeah, I remember I remember that guy and what he did for the gaming community. even if it's on like a small level, like I'm not looking to become huge. I just want to yeah, influence people positively as an artist, and I think that like it's a good goal to have to want to leave your mark as an artist in a positive way. And I hope that this series of masterclasses will help all of you to develop a better understanding about the music in the game, a better understanding of how Mason and I work together, and a better understanding about what my procedures are as an artist. Um, and I'm really yeah, I do main heavy on fucking Team Fortress 2. My gun in Team Fortress 2, they have it's just the standard heavy gun because everybody knows, like, listen, if you just want to play the game and click the mouse, like, just use the standard weapons, it's fine. It's all good. My gun, which I received during Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Sandy, which is 2013, no, 2012. I received that gun as a gift from someone when I traded them all of my souls, all of my spirits from the Halloween special Halloween event, and they gave me the gun and gave me a name tag with the gun so that I could rename it, and I named it the Rootin' Tootin' Putin, which didn't really age all that well, but it remains. um, Look up Bearded Expense. Dude's my cousin. Bearded Expense. Um, let's check it out. Bearded Expense. Someone hit me up the other day and said, oh, Bearded Expense is this like. Oh, he plays video games. I'll have to check this out. Joey Slapnuts, heavy main this side of the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, I'll have to check this out. Like I've been out of like Team Fortress 2 commission for a little bit. I haven't played in quite a while, but I did main heavy. My brother makes it sound like, oh yeah, like he mains heavy. Like I mained heavy. I haven't played Team Fortress 2 in quite some time. Probably like a few months. I jumped on and played with some Hylics fans like recently, but I played for like 30 minutes and then I had to go do something. So anyway, again, if anyone has any questions, you can always hit me up. My Instagram is probably the best place to do it. If you use Twitter, you can tweet at me, I guess, or you can send me a DM there if you want. My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. Ha 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 ha. My main goal is to sort of just be a positive influence in the indie gaming community, because I know that a lot of people, like, I'm not going for like the wholesome route. Like sometimes I think like I can be more wholesome than I am, but like, I'm just a dude who's a dad. I got a little kid, and like, I'm just trying to provide for my family in a way that allows me to be feeding myself spiritually as an artist. Like I really enjoy doing what I do, and I enjoy helping all of you have a good experience listening to music and experiencing the music in the game. The music, it serves as an embellishment to Mason's game and the experience that he has set up for all of you. And I look forward to doing more of these. Again, this is one of like 11, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't stream every night. I'm not like one of these streamers. I was streaming quite a lot at the beginning of quarantine, but I like blew myself out. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that people just stream all day every day. Like they just stream every fucking thing. It's ridiculous. Yeah, dude, I would love to play TF2. with some people. Yeah, Monkey, this is what, yeah, I'm teaching all of the pieces that I did in Hylics. So this is one of like I'm going to be doing a bunch of these. I'm going to be streaming but I'm going to do them like maybe once a week. I'll do it. I'll see how Mason feels about that, because I usually don't do anything on. I usually do a development team meeting with the other dev team that I'm working with, outside of the work that I do with Mason, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm not good for Friday nights for the next 11 weeks because I'm going to do this shit. We'll announce it, when I decide that I've got the time to do it, and it'll be one of 11. It'll be over the course of the next few months. I'll be doing this. Maybe 3 or 4 months. The series will be over. Yeah. So, TF2. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So for those of you that if you don't know, Hylics has its own Discord. I think most of you are on it. Please feel free to go there. It's a great space. It's really awesome. It's well moderated. It's I don't want to say it's a safe space. It's just it's all ages. So we try to keep it moderated and appropriate for everyone. The mod team is super cool, and Mason and I are in there quite a bit. I'm in there every day, and I answer. You can send me a DM there or whatever. You can ping me. I'm totally pingable. If anyone has any questions, hit me up. I'm always around. You don't have to smash the like button, and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell or whatever. You don't have to do that. I'm not gonna force anyone to do that. I think that shit is so stupid. If you're interested in what I'm doing, you'll follow me on social media. If you're not, I'm not gonna force you to do it. I think that's all I want to say. Thank you all so much for coming to the first episode of the Hylics 2 OST masterclasses. The next class will be announced by Mason on his Twitter at some point, and look for an announcement tomorrow about Mason and I doing an Instagram double live. All you need to do for that, you'll have to do this. You'll have to either keep an eye out for it, or follow Mason or follow me on Instagram to see if either one of us is going live. That's not follow me on Instagram. It's if you want to see that, you're gonna have to get a notification that we're going live. We're going to announce when we're going to do that. I think we're going to do it at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll probably go for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because we might start talking about some fun stuff or answer some questions. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all more than you know. And I will see you at the next one, which will be announced. And that will be, That's a Big Stick, I think. I think that's the next track that appears. I'll have to see. Actually, I'll tell you all right now, and then I'm gonna go upstairs and eat some nachos, because that's what my wife got for me to eat. Nacho gang. Hylics 2. Oh no, the next track is gonna be Xeno Arcadia. So the next thing that we learn will be Xeno Arcadia. And I will make sure that Mason makes an announcement on his Twitter for everyone to see, and I'll make some announcements and stuff too. Okay? Y'all have a good night. Wash your hands. Don't do anything I would do or wouldn't do. Gray area. And wash your hands again. Okay. I'll see you all in the next stream. Bye.